Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and good afternoon to our American audience. We warmly welcome you to this evening's performance of The New Normal. The show lasts 1 hour and we invite you to a lively Q&A chat with the cast and crew at the end. Because this is a live performance, could you help us by remaining on the Zoom link for the whole show? Thank you for supporting us. Enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's broadcast.
Let's sum up the summer of 2020.
Restrictions to combat COVID continued throughout the summer. Rampant hordes of Brits flocked to any patch of sun they could find.
Utterly irresponsible behaviour. It's almost as if they've never heard of social distancing.
Well, it's not their fault. Technically they are allowed outside and technically they can go to the beach. It's not their fault that Skegness sucks.
I suppose the Italians were much luckier. They had the Riviera, the islands, the lakes, the mountains, plus they had the luxury of having Italy mostly to themselves.
Ugh, lucky Italians. In August, Rishi Sunak encouraged the Brits to eat out to help out, which triggered a chain reaction of dining and socialising and dining and socialising and dining.
Until October, when another wave of COVID breakups locked us all back up indoors again. Funny, under the pretense of helping our economy, people just took liberties and forgot it was a pandemic.
Well, to be fair, if people didn't visit pubs and restaurants, then there wouldn't be any pubs and restaurants to go back to.
Well, what people were really discussing in the UK was what those ever-changing rules and regulations meant.
People had to double check with each other. Am I allowed to do this? And can I do that?
Which inevitably led to somewhat inconsistent interpretations by the public.
People in the UK and perhaps elsewhere were divided into those who supported the lockdown, self-governing and cautious, and those who were labelled COVIDiots, who weren't.
Small businesses struggled and closed, medium businesses struggled and closed, big businesses struggled and closed.
The only real winners were the likes of Amazon and Uber, who had a bonanza year.
The date is October 10th. We meet Flavia and her son Matteo, who are living in Milan.
Yes, now Matteo is the 21-year-old that was doing his finals at Bristol University the last time we met.
He returned to Italy for the summer after his father, Dave, moved out.
How's your day been, Tesoro?
Okay, I guess.
How's job hunting going?
It's going.
Does anything turn up?
No.
So did you give Lars a call?
No.
Why not?
Mom, I'm not sure I want to work for your company.
Matteo, it's a start. And it might be a good opportunity. We all have to start somewhere. We need to use our network.
Is this a good opportunity for you or for me?
For you, of course.
Mom, I'm grateful, but I do need to find my own way.
Okay.
You realize how difficult it is at the moment to find anything at all. Look, I'm sorry I'm such a burden to you.
Matteo, you're not a burden. Don't even say that. Look, you've been a little down lately. What's on your mind?
Mom, it's a pandemic. Many people are down. We can't do anything, go anywhere.
Yes, I know. I don't think it's just a pandemic. Look, I know you're not happy that Dad and I split up.
Hey, please, it's none of my business.
Well, I can see that you're still upset.
That you split up a perfectly okay marriage to chase a married man? Look, anyway, it's none of my business.
Oh, I don't know what it is with your generation. You want everything to be perfect. Well, it's not. And neither am I. Okay, yes, I had an affair. I'm not a Walt Disney mom. but I've done my best and I put energy into this family.
Okay, we both know that you were in charge.
Oh, for God's sake, Matteo! You have a place to live. You're young, intelligent, handsome, you have a good education, and 2 parents who actually love you. Be grateful for that. This is where we are at the moment, okay?
Okay, Mama. Sorry. Non ce la faccio più. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm all over the place.
Tesoro, there is nothing wrong with you. We're in a global mess.
Yeah.
Matteo, whatever it is, we will sort it out. I promise.
I'm taking the dog for a walk. I need to get some fresh air.
He is so much like his father. That is just the kind of response I would get from him.
Yes, Flavia, but are you going to handle him the same way you did your husband?
Ex-husband.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's meet our new couple, Giovanna and Luca. Giovanna is Flavia's cousin, and she and her husband Luca both live in London.
Luca is, or was, a top chef at a high-end restaurant in the city. Now, he was furloughed in the early days of the pandemic, which meant being paid 80% of his salary by the government whilst his business was closed. Giovanna is a pastry chef who works in a coffee deli, famous for its pastries and excellent coffee.
They have a young daughter, Isabella, who goes to nursery school.
Giovanna continued to work in the coffee shop as takeaways did not close down.
I wish I'd been furloughed. Sounds like a treat.
You say that. My sister was furloughed and she said the novelty wore off pretty quickly and she missed having something to do every day.
Oh, what a day. Serving coffee all day, trying to understand people through a mask. I got orders so mixed up and one guy really kicked off. We're doing our best. How are you, Mora?
Fine.
What did you do today?
Same as every day. I took Isa to school, I cleaned up the flat, I picked up Isa.
Anything else?
No. Isa wanted us to make a cake. I said we'd wait for you to get back. You're the cake expert.
Luca, I really don't want to see any more cakes today. It's been manic.
At least you have a job to be manic with.
Oh, come on, Luca. One of us has to be working. How's the job hunting going anyway?
I've spent hours on the internet. It's just pointless. There are tons of chefs looking for work.
I think having a project is important.
What's left? Pizza Express? I feel like I'm in the wrong industry now.
What's the right industry?
I still have got my motorbike. Maybe I could try couriering.
Well, why not? I mean...
That was a joke.
I think you should just try to keep looking for other options. Something is bound to turn up.
Yeah, unless you got a magic wand and can vanish away the pandemic, then I don't think so.
Well, you can try to be a little bit more positive.
Positive. I'm really struggling with that right now.
Luca, I know. I'm sorry. I know. I know it's tough. Okay. Something will turn up. All right. Now, shall I deal with Isa while you get along with supper?
Okay.
We can't go on like this. Luca's just not the same man I married. He was always so driven, so enthusiastic, so confident, and that's what I loved about him. And now he just mopes around the house all day, and I know he's not even talking to his friends anymore. Luca's at his best when he's focused on a goal or when he's really busy. Dios santo, he needs to do something. This staying at home all day with no prospects it's just killing him.
Poor Luca. That must be tough. I see what your sister meant about having something to do each day.
With social interaction down, mental health issues rose across all demographics.
Carla was particularly busy in this period. People sought her help existentially, maritally, and personally.
People battled with loneliness, and those with children were challenged with simultaneously homeschooling and providing for their families.
Here we are with Carla, our therapist brought in to salvage the marriage between Flavia and Dave. Flavia continued to see her after the divorce.
I know, Flavia, things have been really tough lately. How are things going with Matteo now that he's at home?
Not good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I wanted to talk to you about him today.
Oh, yes?
Since he's been home, he's been very morose. He barely talks to me. He just sits in his room and plays on his computer all the time and just goes to the kitchen for snacks. And that's it.
Well, he has had a lot of adjustment, Flavia. He's just returned from his final years at university. His parents are separated. His father lives in London now, and he's looking for a job in the middle of a pandemic. You know, it really can't be easy on him.
I know it isn't. I know. We had a tricky moment yesterday.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Oh, I lost my temper and I gave him a piece of mind, I'm afraid.
Well, a lot of people are very afraid at the moment, Flavia. But I get the impression that something more than that concerns you.
Yeah. It's more his state of mind that really worries me.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems lost.
Do you think it's about his future?
Yeah. And I've tried to help him, but he just won't listen to me. I feel so helpless.
Give him time, Flavia. And yourself.
I just think maybe he needs to talk to someone else. It's helped me. Maybe it's going to help him. I just don't know what else to do anymore. Maybe you could talk to him, Carla.
Of course. Of course, I could certainly talk to him.
Really? I'll get him to contact you then.
I look forward to meeting him, actually. I've heard so much about him.
Thank you so much, Carla.
You're welcome. And I'll see you at our next session, Flavia.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Bye. People have had to dig so very, very deep this year, trying to adapt and find new solutions to this new world.
It is so hard navigating your own mental health needs with what the government has said we can and can't do at the moment.
Yeah, your mental health needs are important, but we can't allow that to potentially put others at risk. The government guidelines were put in place to think about our societal best interests. If they tell us to stay indoors and not see people, that's what we need to do.
Well, the guidelines are just guidelines, you know. We're still supposed to be applying our own common sense. And I think if you and the people you're seeing are both being sensible, then there's no reason why
because it's against the rules. Rules, guidelines, whatever you want to call it. We're supposed to be thinking about the bigger picture here. And if that means applying a little bit of common sense, so be it.
Well, that's all very well and good, but how are you supposed to know where a guideline ends and a rule begins?
Well, in mid-November, London was partway through a month-long lockdown, but it's seemingly people weren't too willing to abide by that little experiment.
You say seemingly? I say understandably. We'd already had one lockdown and that was bad enough. It's not like the police were enforcing it anyway.
Well, at least in Italy, they seem to know where they stood.
I'm sure they were confused too. Their colour zone system seemed pretty intense. For the Milanese, it meant no leaving Milan, bars and restaurants were closed for indoor consumption, curfews were enforced. I mean, the crippled livelihoods.
Yeah, it was less than ideal, but cases were reported to be rising rapidly. I guess I can see how the curfew affected the younger generation. Just look at Matteo.
Exactly. Speaking of Italy, let's get back to the story. Flavia and Moira have become quite close, you know.
One of the positive outcomes of both losing their husbands.
They talk a lot over Zoom.
Where else?
That nice effect.
Way, did I tell you I got a message from Costas? It sounds like he is loving Brazil. Bit obsessed by some new crystals he found on his trip.
Oh God, yes. He keeps sending me pictures with the hashtag the future.
I know. I have to say though, diving into this crystal project has been an absolute godsend. I think it's really helping him come to terms with Steve's death.
I still can't believe he's gone.
I know, neither can I. Anyway, with Costas in Brazil, you heard much from Dave?
Oh, not much. When I do, we usually talk about Matteo and the divorce. How about you?
Ugh. Hardly heard from Freddie at all. I know he's living in London because I sent him his mail.
You miss him?
I do. I mean, Freddie was my whole life for over 20 years, but I'm doing my best.
What have you been up to?
Well, I have reorganised the whole house now that I live alone. You know, I just really needed to change the space.
Wow, that's great, Moira. Any new COVID projects?
Yes, actually. I decided to get on top of technology. You know, Freddie used to do it. So James has been a godsend.
James? Who's James?
Oh, you know, he's just a whiz with IT. He sorted out all the Wi-Fi. He has updated all my programs. He's reordered all my files, and I'm getting my head around it now.
Wow, he seems like a useful person to know.
He is. Yes, marvellous. I tried to pay him at first, but he said no, so I've just paid him in cups of tea instead. It's been nice.
Sounds like it.
And computer works so much better.
How old is he?
Oh, you know, not sure. All right, I'd say mid-30s. Okay, he's 35.
Married?
No, single.
Lives close by?
About a mile away.
How convenient.
All right, look, can I tell you something?
Yes.
Well, I'm not quite sure how it happened, but we ended up in bed together. I feel a bit guilty.
Oh, we all know how it happens, Moira. Good for you.
Yes, actually, do you know what? It's been wonderful and actually a real confidence booster.
I knew there was something going on. You have that sparkle in your eye.
Thanks. And anyway, how about you?
Oh, my love life is a 0, and I plan to keep it that way. For now, my main concern is Matteo.
Ugh, I know. Future's so uncertain and so tough for his generation.
Yeah. And for my cousin Giovanna in London as well. Oh.
God, I know. It was awful that Luca's restaurant closed down. But, you know, I think he needs some help now. Someone like my sister, Bridget, you know what she's like. She helps people restructure their business and she's so good. She's so practical.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind asking her, I would cover all the costs.
Listen, I am sure that she'd be more than happy to help. I'm speaking to her later. And listen, she doesn't know anything about James, okay? So...
Don't worry, she won't hear about it from me.
Oh, God, and you know, one of the best things about all of this is that you and I have got to know each other better.
Yeah, you're right.
I love your can-do attitude, Flavia. Speaking to you has really, really helped me. Oh, God. Listen, that's going to be Bridget. I will chat soon, darling. Look, I better take this.
Bye.
Hello, Bridget.
Oh, Moira, at last. I can't get hold of you anymore. What are you doing all day?
Oh, you know, just work. Been a bit busy with my computer course.
Oh, That's good. You know, I'm a firm believer in projects, and it is what we all need to get through these dreadful times.
Oh, yes, you are so right, Bridget. Anyway, how are you?
Okay, you know, I have been rushed off my feet. You know, these furlough schemes, it's rather complicated, to say the least.
Oh, I bet. And what about Bill and the kids?
Oh, they're all fine. So glad Alice is back at school and not under my feet.
I know. I don't know how you coped earlier, Bridget, running your business, keeping everything together. You are just a phenomenon.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, you just have to get on with it, don't you? Well, there's no point in worrying. Talking of which, are you still seeing that therapist? What's her name?
Carla? No, not anymore. But I have to say it was really useful in the early days when Freddie left. I would recommend it.
I do think it's very good for some people, but it's really not my thing.
No. But anyway, Bridget, talking about help, wanted to ask you something. I was just on Zoom with Flavia.
Oh, your friend from Italy? Dave's ex-wife?
Yeah. Well, it's not about her. It's about her cousin and her husband, who's a chef. And he's out of work now. I think he needs some practical help, and I thought of you. So would you speak to him?
Oh, of course. God, I really feel so sorry for people in the hospitality industry.
I know, it is just not fair.
Well, look, give him my number. By the way, love, you sound so much better. I'm glad you found something to keep you busy in the day.
Yeah, thanks, Bridget.
Well, onwards and upwards, eh? But we'll speak soon, darling. And Moira, do you remember to ring me once in a while?
Ooh, a computer course, eh? I could do with one of those.
Lovely of Bridget to offer her advice to Luca, who seems to be having a really tough time.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, it looks like Matteo's session with Carl is about to start.
Matteo, how's it going with your mum and you?
Okay, I suppose. I mean, I know she's trying to help me in her way.
And isn't it useful?
Don't get me wrong, it is. I just really don't see myself as a corporate person at all.
And how do you see yourself?
Well, I don't want to sound weird. A free spirit?
No, it doesn't sound weird at all. Tell me more about your free spirit.
Well, I've always been fascinated in travel and exploring the world.
Okay, so that's why you studied geography at university.
Yeah, I loved it.
So you thought about traveling then?
Of course, though that dream has been canceled by the pandemic.
You have plans?
Yeah, when I was at university, I had a friend, Kieran, my housemate. We would travel around the world together.
That sounds great.
Yeah, we would do manual jobs and then move to the next country. And we were going to travel for a year at least.
He sounds like he's a very close friend of yours, Kieran.
He was.
Was?
He's dead.
Matteo, I'm so sorry. Can you talk about it?
It was last November. And there was a group of us, you know, we were all hanging out. Typical Saturday night, nothing special. We had a lot to drink. thought Kieran was gonna come with us to the club where we normally go. He said he was going home by himself to our house. I asked whether he wanted me to go with him, and he said no, I should just go to the club with the others. Next morning, I heard on the newsfeed that a boy threw himself over the bridge. And I just knew it was him. And if I would have only insisted, he'd still be here right now.
This isn't your fault, Matteo.
Look, I haven't spoken about it before now, really. I was offered counseling. I did one session, and I didn't want to do any more. And I've only started thinking about it again recently.
Not everybody wants or can speak immediately to something like this.
If only I had realized, I would have stayed there with him.
Can't blame yourself for this, Matteo. As painful as it is.
No. But I think about him all the time.
Mm-hmm. You're processing, Matteo. It's very good that you're talking now. You probably had to shelve it whilst you were studying, and now you've got time.
Yeah.
Listen, Matteo. Listen. I'm going to send you something which I think may help you. It's a Japanese approach. It's called Ikigai. And you can have a read. And we'll talk about it next time. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Carla.
Matteo, what you've been going through is very, very traumatic. Let's take it slowly after losing a friend like that.
It really seems like he's carrying the world on his shoulders at the moment.
Which is why it's so important to talk about these things. Did you know that male suicides have accounted for 3/4 of all suicides since the 1990s?
Really?
Sadly so.
So, Giovanna and Luca are talking through the options they have.
I phoned all my contacts. I've looked online for work every single day. What there is out there is just not worth going for, Giovanna.
Oh, look, I know you are, but I need you to change your attitude. I can't come home to this every night.
You know how hard I've tried. I'm doing the best I can.
I just think you're really run down in a hole. And
So it's my fault. And there I was thinking it's because of the pandemic.
Oh, it's not about blame, Luca. We can't go on like this.
Okay, so what do you suggest?
I need you to see someone. I've been talking to my cousin Flavia, or rather Moira has, and it's not a therapist, okay? It's more like a business consultant.
I don't need to see a shrink or a consultant. For God's sake, I need a job. Besides, we don't have money to waste on that.
Oh, Luca, you say no to everything. Flavia even offered to pay. How do you know it won't work? This has been going on for months now.
I just need a break.
Listen, Luca, if you don't change something, I really can't go on. I've been thinking about taking Isa and going back to Italy.
Are you serious?
Yes, actually I am. You know, this is for my mental health too. I've been carrying on and working and supporting us, and yet I have my limits. I love you, Luca. I love you. I need you to change your attitude, or at least try. I'm gonna take Isa and go to the shops now. We we need something for supper, okay?
So, my whole life has been about working towards becoming a master chef. That is all I know. Now what do I do? I'm unemployed for the first time in my entire life. I feel useless. What kind of a man am I? I can't even take care of my family. To be honest, I find it hard to even get out of bed in the morning. To find the energy to even speak to people. I have this strange new feeling in my chest. I might have to go and speak to this person if I want to keep Giovanna from leaving me. Don't blame her either if she does.
How do you stay so positive when everything just seems so dire?
Well, I suppose Giovanna has the right idea. Trying to create a plan for Luca, keep him motivated, positive, looking forward.
Yeah, but how can we plan when the global situation changes from week to week? Not everyone is fortunate enough to have the security of work from home.
I mean, true. All the more reason for Luca to be speaking with Bridget, I guess.
Talking helps.
So, Luca, well, what was it that inspired you to be a chef?
My grandmother from Modena, her food was magical, and I wanted to capture that. My dream was always to open an osteria.
Oh, that sounds good. One of those trattorias?
No, an osteria.
So sorry.
I specialize in, we call it piatti tipici, authentic food from Emilia-Romagna. It's the best.
I believe you. Well, tell me more about the Osteria.
To create a really special ambience with amazing food and wine, the one that people would remember forever. So many ideas.
Oh, yes. I can tell this is your passion. So, when did you come to London?
7 years ago. I met my wife Giovanna here, and we decided to stay. Everything was really on track, working hard, and then boom, fucking COVID. Sorry.
There's no need to apologize, Luca. The hospitality industry has been hit so hard.
It's been a living hell. I've looked for jobs, zero. So, bye-bye, Osteria.
Really?
Possibile.
So, can you recreate this differently?
No, you can't.
Oh, so people don't want this culinary experience anymore?
Well, yeah, but...
So, the demand is still there. Maybe that's something we can work on.
Okay. Do you know how many people would want to go to even a pub and can't? For sure there's demand.
Well, what if you could bring the Osteria idea to people's doorsteps?
I don't do takeaway.
Luca, takeaways don't have to mean McDonald's or fast food. Think of the high-end caterers. What do they do?
They prepare everything and serve on site. Silver service standard.
Well, could you prepare everything and give the instructions on how to serve on site? Well, to your very high standards, of course.
Yeah, maybe.
Listen, Luca, we need a plan. Now, I'd like you to go home, sit down with your wife, and have a really good think about this. Work out a value proposition. You know, we could well be going into another lockdown, so we need to get prepared.
Okay.
Let's talk on Wednesday. 2? Let's get this sorted. Look, I need to go now. Goodbye.
Bye.
Luca. He's a nice young man. He's just a bit stuck in his ways. it's fairly obvious what to do. Look, I just gave him a nudge, and I'm sure his wife and him will come up with really plenty of good ideas. You know, I looked at his Instagram. Wow. He is a fabulous chef. He's a little bit pricey. He's a little bit out of, well, our price range, but well, there are plenty of people who will pay for that sort of thing. Moira said that Flavia wanted to pay me. I wouldn't dream of it. Mind you, I wouldn't mind a couple of free vouchers and a bottle of that delicious looking wine. Reminds me of my honeymoon with Bill in Italy. You know, I'm pretty confident that with the right approach and the financial budget, it'll all work out. You know, it's all about the preparation and then getting on with it.
How did it go with Bridget?
My goodness, that woman has turned my head upside down.
That's great. It needed that.
Yeah.
So?
Well, she came up with an idea.
What was the idea?
To take the Osteria to people, kind of like fancy takeaway.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's not. Well, she gave us homework anyway. She said we need to come up with our business. The value proposition.
Okay, that means what we're offering, right? Our service.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's do it then, Luca.
It's not that easy to just pack up a high-end Osteria and a picnic box and take it around on the back of a scooter like Deliveroo. What, do you think we can?
Luca, what's your specialty?
Well, simple starters, primi piatti, exceptional wine, you know that.
Allora, what's so crazy about taking that to people's doorsteps? People are so sick of the same old takeaway. They want a real experience.
Exactly. What about the ambience?
Can we help them to recreate it? We could put everything in the box, including the instructions.
Maybe. We could include the wine as well, you know. We have all those wine boxes in the garage.
We have no shortage of stock.
Let's put some ideas down.
You know, you have a huge following on Instagram. We can even use that to promote.
You read my mind, just what I was thinking.
You know, Luca, I've got a really good feeling about this.
COVID really has forced people to think on their feet. I heard that Favour's Ambrose holiday in Milan is set to be completely online this year.
Yes, I saw that. They opened the Scala, but they only streamed it. I think it really lifted the somber mood in northern Italy.
Funny, mood certainly wasn't somber in London. Londoners were basking in the winter glow of their newfound freedom post-November's lockdown.
Ah, the substantial meal saga. I could murder a Scotch egg.
Certainly didn't help having the likes of The Sun posting monstrosity after monstrosity. Another classic case of people forgetting about the pandemic.
You know what? I've about had it with your pessimism. We're social beings. Interaction is in our nature. Stop dragging people just because they want to spend time with their friends.
Well, I've about had it with your recklessness. Your inability to acknowledge the bigger picture is just naive and selfish. People are dying.
Well, if you love social distancing so much...
You are so childish.
Stand 2 meters away, please.
Cut to collar, Matteo, please.
So I've been thinking about my ikigai, you know, those questions you asked me to think about, and it's so interesting, and it really got me to think a lot.
Yeah, ikigai is great for that.
Yeah, well, I love that it's Japanese.
Ah, yes?
Yeah, and it struck me more than anything that I still want to find a way to explore the world. So, you know, I came up with an idea, and it might sound a bit crazy.
Go on, I'm curious.
Look how, Well, Kieran and I talked about doing work in far-flung places like New Zealand, but that's out now. So I looked up where I could go.
And so
They're looking for people to help out in the fisheries in Alaska.
you're thinking of going?
Well, I could do 6 months to a year on a trawler out there. I don't get any expenses. I don't get much pay. But it's going to be hard work. And yeah, well, I could do a research project on fish and the environment.
Interesting. Very challenging, though.
Yeah, well, I just need to finalize the paperwork and then I can go in a few weeks, and they want me as soon as possible.
Oh, sounds like it's more than an idea. This is great, Matteo. It's really, really good.
Yeah, and I started wearing these again. Kieran and we got them in Peru.
Nice, nice. It's nice to see you wearing them.
Yeah, this feels right.
Feeling right and taking opportunity. That's what really matters.
Well, now I just need to get Mom on board, and I don't know how she's going to take this.
I wouldn't underestimate your mother, Matteo.
No, I don't.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing more details the next time we meet. It's great. Excellent work, Matteo.
Gosh, Peter Davies has smarted up a bit. Must have followed my advice because now he's always wearing a shirt. And he's had a visit to the barber.
Well, I know how you love people to look the part, but he's probably wearing his PJ bottoms underneath, though.
I don't care, as long as he looks professional.
Mama, this risotto is amazing.
Thank you. I know it's your favorite.
Mama.
Si, tesoro.
I have a plan in mind.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
There's an internship opportunity, research on the marine environment, and they've accepted me.
That's fantastic. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, it's a bit far away, though.
Okay. How far are we talking? Sicily?
Farther than that. Alaska.
Alaska. That's on the other side of the world, in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, I know it is, and it is an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, sorry. It's just not where I was expecting. But you're right. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's part of the American University BUNAC system, and I get all my expenses covered completely, and I get real experience working in the fisheries out in Alaska. Look, I know it's going to be hard, but I'm ready for this.
I am so proud of you. I love traveling. It's the part I miss the most about all this. And when I was your age, I lived for it. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I would like to look at that information more, though.
Of course. And I didn't want to tell you until it was a real option, and I wanted to do this by myself.
Oh, it's so great to see you so enthusiastic. It really is.
Thanks, Mom. That means a lot to me.
Does your father know?
Oh yeah, I told him this morning on our catch-up call. I mean, I hope that's okay, that I told him before you.
Yeah, don't worry.
I thought he would react differently.
What do you mean?
You know, he's not convinced.
Ugh, classic Dave, party pooper. He should be happy for you.
Well, I am going. Let me show you where it is on the laptop.
Yes.
Keep this professional and get this scene done, okay?
Fine, whatever. Oh, shit, we're live. Would you work in the fisheries?
I certainly wouldn't, on account of my life-threatening fish allergy. That ikigai does sound interesting, though.
Life-threatening fish allergy. Ikigai. Fantastic. Yeah.
Let's get to Moira now. Moira has just been on the phone to her soon-to-be ex-husband Freddie, and she's waiting for a visit from Bridget. Just to remind our audience that Moira and Freddie broke up due to his illicit business affairs, risking their house.
Wow, very close call.
Very.
Thank goodness she managed to rescue the house and get the title deeds transferred to her name.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie, I can't talk to you about this right now. And Bridget has just arrived. I have to go. Come in.
Oh, hello, darling. How are you? Oh, it's getting so nippy out there. Winter's really drawing in. Look, I bought you some really lovely biscuits from M&S. Come on, darling. I'm dying for a cuppa.
What? Oh, sorry. What?
Moira, you look a million miles away.
Oh, Freddie was just on the phone.
Oh, well, and how was that?
Well, he phoned to arrange to pick up some of his things. And don't worry, he's not moving back in. Well, not now, anyway.
Well, I am very relieved to hear that.
So, I guess it's time to tell you too.
Tell me what?
Bridget, this might be a bit of a shock for you, but there is something happening.
What is happening?
I'm going to have a baby.
A what?
A baby. I am having a baby.
Oh, yes, I know what a baby is. So how on earth did this happen?
Oh, good Lord, how do you think?
So, you've been seeing Freddie. Oh, God, Moira, I thought that was over.
It's not Freddie's.
Oh, Lord. Whose baby is it?
James's.
James? That computer man?
Mm-hmm.
Moira, you hardly know him.
Well enough.
I can't believe it.
Look, I didn't plan this. I mean, Freddie and I tried to have a baby with no luck. Couple of goes with James when I was definitely not planning to have a baby, and boom, I'm pregnant.
A menopause baby. You know, they always say you have to be very careful around that time.
Well, too late now.
You know, I thought you'd put a couple of pounds on, but yet people mostly have during these COVID times.
Bridget, I've just gotten my head around this now. Good Lord. I'm happy about it. I mean, God, come to think of it, it is all I ever wanted.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. Look, it's just a bit of a shock, to say the least. Right. Well, if you are happy, so am I. And you know what, Moira? You will be a wonderful mother.
Thanks. God, I hope so. Anyway, I've had 2 scans and so far everything's looking fine.
Well, that's good. It seems like you've got it sort of all under control. So how did Freddie take it?
Not well.
Well, you know what I think about him.
Mm-hmm.
And the father?
I haven't told him yet.
Oh, well. Anyway, you will get a great maternity leave from the civil service. Well, that's one good thing about them.
Yes, you are right, Bridget. Anyway, come on. Let me make the tea and have one of those biscuits.
Oh, no. You let me do that. You sit down. You need to look after yourself now. Here you go. Oh, just think. I'm going to be an auntie. Who would have thought?
Well, Bridget took my baby news better than I expected. Unlike Freddie, he phoned earlier to arrange to pick up the last of his things. So while we were on the phone, I just told him about the baby. He assumed that it was his, of course. A bit awkward when I explained that I wasn't 6 months pregnant and that I was only just 4. Anyway, I then had to explain to him that he wasn't the father. James is. Of course, then he assumed I was going to move James in and marry him. Like I want another husband. I haven't even told James yet. I mean, it all got a bit complicated. Freddie was understandably shocked. I mean, who isn't? But he'll get used to it. I need calm now. Stress, not good for me or the baby. My life used to be all about running around after Freddie. Yeah, he was always my #1 priority. And now, it's all about this precious new life. Flavia was actually the first person I told. She called the baby a mini miracle. And she's so right. It is. I still can't quite believe it. It's all very strange. And new. I rather like it.
Moira's having a baby.
Good for her. I think she'll be a fantastic mother.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Giovanna and Luca have made incredible progress with their business plan.
Well, it is nice to see that committing to a plan has helped with his mental health.
Giovanna is talking with her cousin Flavia about her and Luca's plan.
Yeah, so it's really coming along. We're going to call it Osteria Casa Tua. And it's not takeaway. Don't even mention that to Luca. We're going to put everything in the little hamper, including the wine and music and even instructions and a handwritten menu.
That's brilliant, Giovanna. Bravi.
Grazie. Yeah. It's all about the date night at home.
Wait, so how do you bring it to them, to their doorstep?
Well, Luca has a few out-of-work waiter friends that are going to handle that. We're only covering a few zones of London, so I think it should work.
That's clever, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Luca's really getting onto this now, and he's been working on it with Bridget's help for days, and people are already interested in bookings.
Wow. And I love the name Osteria Casa Tua. I'm so pleased, Giovanna.
Thank you. God, we really were in a bad way, but I don't know if this is going to work, but at least we're doing something.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Just make a positive decision and go from there. It's the same with Matteo.
Well, yeah, so is he gonna go ahead and go to Alaska?
Yep.
How are you feeling about that?
I can't say I'm not a little bit concerned, but I am excited for him. And it's so great to see the old Matteo coming back. He's so enthusiastic. He's really looking forward to it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he was even so adventurous, even as a little boy.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm so happy for him.
Me too, yeah. It's not exactly what I would have chosen,
Exactly.
but given the circumstances, I think he should do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it must be tough for you all the same, right? Letting go of him.
Oh, I have to take this. It's Dave.
Oh, ok, ci sentiamo dopo.
Okay.
Later. Ciao, baci.
Yes, Dave. I know it could be dangerous and it is uncertain, yes. Don't be ridiculous. Why would I want to get back at you? It's not about you. He wanted to travel. He doesn't want to work with you or me. He found this all by himself. Yes, he's had professional help, like we did. What's wrong with that? It was his decision. He's an adult now, Dave. He gets to make his own choices, just like you used to say. No, basta, Dave. Basta, we're getting nowhere. I'm gonna end this conversation now. Oh, you think he'd be happy for his son? Madonna, just think where it was a year ago. Dave was living here. I was traveling all over the world. That was the last time I saw Liam in London. God, I feel like a completely different woman now. Life is so very strange, isn't it? I've learned to be a bit more patient. I probably wasn't the easiest person to live with, but I am so glad Matteo has a plan now. As for me, I'm just taking it one day at a time. It's the only way through this. I look forward to Christmas. Milan is always so magical at Christmas.
Gentlemen, how are things in your world? How are you both?
By Christmas, everyone was thoroughly tired of the 10 o'clock curfew in Milan and the Zona Rossa. You couldn't even get a takeaway by 9:30, and this particularly affected the under 25s and single people.
Yeah, well, by December 23rd, Tier 3 in London was transformed into Tier 4. Shops and bars were closed again.
Bet you love that.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for telling me the news too, but I was really more concerned with how you both are. There seems to be a bit of tension between you.
I don't know what to think anymore. We're constantly overloaded with opposing information from the media, and it's making me question what I believe myself.
Yeah, I mean, if he can interpret one thing from the rules, and I can interpret something completely different, I really don't know where we're supposed to stand as a society.
Okay, so where do you stand? And what do you believe in?
Ugh, I just want things to go back to normal.
Yeah, but bending the rules is only delaying that pursuit of normality.
Stop acting as my moral watchdog.
Okay, gentlemen. You do need to listen to each other.
You know, The government guidelines were put in place to consider the best interests of the majority. If we're bending the rules, we're endangering the people we know and love and communities we've never even met.
That's interesting. What do you think?
To be honest, I'm just not sure. I thought I was being responsible. I've been applying common sense. I'm sort of struggling to keep my head above water.
That's understandable, you know. You know, we need to be a little bit more compassionate with ourselves in these very, very trying times.
I guess maybe I've become so caught up on being right, I've almost forgotten how to have a conversation.
Yeah, we really need to break out of our echo chambers, don't we?
That's a good start. Being aware that we do sometimes get caught up in our own perspective and we get to consider that with others.
But if I'm spending my whole time thinking about everyone's perspective, then who's taking care of me? I feel burnt out by the whole thing.
Well, what I have noticed that people who are coping the best are those who are accepting that this is the way the world is now, and they're adapting. They're trying to find new solutions.
What do you mean?
Finding strength from within, in your way, and being kinder to yourselves.
I see. So we each need to recalibrate our internal resources and resilience levels?
And remember to be nicer to ourselves.
Exactly. Exactly. That's nice work, gentlemen. I wonder what the others think.
We all need an adventure to keep us alive. We need to explore what's possible.
People need to make their own choices about what is right for them.
We can get through this when we work together.
Step out of your comfort zone. Be brave. Explore your options.
When unexpected things happen in life, embrace them.
Don't be discouraged if plan A doesn't work. There's always a plan B in the spreadsheet house.
Need to be nicer to one another.
We need to really listen to each other without judging.
So even in this so-called new normal, it is still about human connection. Just as the spring follows the winter, it's the cycle of life. These things never change, do they?
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching The New Normal. A round of applause, please, for narrator 1, Louis Halpenny, and narrator 2, Otto Terrell. Flavia, Irini Pani. Matteo, Michael Jennings. Carla, Rebecca Dixon. Luca, Dusan Jorovic. Giovanna, Alisa Diadamu. Moira, Rain Flaherty. Bridget, Maggie Dixon. Our backstage wizard was Jordan Cable.
And our fabulous director, where is she? Kathy Dixon.
Hi guys. And a special shout out please for our musician and composer Valentina Panici.